Right, my goal here today is to help you answer one simple question. Why are we in here? What's so important about today that I would dedicate my free time in writing this speech to stand up here now and occupy all of yours? I mean, it's not like I prepare speeches for fun. I'm a scientist, not a writer. When I'm in front of an audience, I expect to talk about things like Monte Carlo simulations of the end of the world, not about the 10 ways to be happy that I just completely made up. And so I won't. Instead, I'm just going to present some evidence, I'll tell a story, then I'll analyze, possibly overanalyze, that story. And then if you're still awake, you'll hopefully have heard enough to build your own answer in the traditional CCS way to why you're in here, listening to me babbling on when you could be out there enjoying the sunshine out on the beach, or for that matter, studying for any finals you may still have this week. So anyways, the story. The first time I stood in front of an audience like this was actually just over 2 years ago. I just started my second year here, in fact, and was wrapping up my first major collaborative research project. One of our collaborators, he'd been planning on presenting our research results at a conference in his hometown, which is 1,000 miles from here. And then we discovered they had a student travel grant program that if I were to be awarded, they'd pay for me to go and present the project myself. So this seemed like a pretty scary proposition. I mean, I'd have to get on a plane for the first time in over a decade, navigate my way through a city I'd never been to, then risk making a fool of myself in front of respected scientists and engineers, working on topics like atmospheric hypervelocity shock aeroplasma processes, which I'm still not sure what that means, but. Well, so when my research advisor asked me if I wanted to apply, well, of course I said, sure, why not? Well, not because I was a brave hero jumping at the opportunity to grow as a researcher as much as I'd like to think I was, but it's more that I didn't think I would get the grant in the first place. I mean, the application explicitly stated that it was intended for graduate students actively contributing this field I'd never even heard of up until this point. And so I figured, well, nothing would happen. I could feel satisfied knowing this opportunity never existed, and the end. Well, except I forgot the part where CCS is a graduate school for undergrads, and which I learned a month later was enough for them to award me the grant anyways. That or they just had too much money. Well, bummer. Now I would actually have to grow up. That's a familiar feeling, I'm sure, for those of us on the stage, and not just because it's today, but really because it's always today. That's a factually true statement, by the way. But in CCS, each new today, that means a new opportunity to learn, to leave our comfort zone, to grow. Well, really, a mandatory opportunity to grow. And from the looks of it, we've all survived these opportunities, and we've done so together. Each of us here may have our own goals we're working to achieve, and those goals may have changed in the past few years we've been here, but we've still been united in our resolve and our efforts to attain them. Which brings me back to the story. Probably guessed by the fact that I'm now up here that my trip went pretty well, and you'd be right. No, not every astronaut in the room was heaping praise on what I had to say, and that's okay. That's what made it valuable as a learning experience. I, however, had the full support of everyone back here in my lab in CCS, many of whom have since shared similar experiences. And so now we arrive here at today, the actual today, that is June 11th, 2017. It's now our last time physically together as a group, no longer as the same babies we started off as just a few years before. And so what happens now as we branch out into our separate adventures? Unfortunately, I'm not from the future, so I can't actually answer that question. However, I can unscientifically speculate after our time together that I think we're ready, beyond ready. I mean, we're an adventurous group here. We're ready to take our next step, to challenge each and every one of our goals that we've set out to accomplish, whatever they may be. So now, why are we gathered in here today again? Particular, why are you here? Well, great question. That would be your homework for today. Thank you very much.